Right now we have both property appraisers.
Not there yet.
Paul, Polk, Frank Desguin in the house.
Good morning, Ken.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pat did a good job. That was enjoyable.
Yeah, he's a kick in the pants. He's always fun, and just it's always fun to laugh. But when you can laugh singing a song too, it makes it even better.
Yep.
Now, trim notices are out.
Yes. Yeah, they went out August 16th.
And any surprises for you in
No,
that regard?
It's usually pretty much the usual volume as far as calls and inquiries to the office. A little slower there, usually that first week or so, but volume usually picks up this last week, and then it'll really pick up over the next couple of days. The filing deadline is September 10th, which is Monday.
And so if anybody has any disputes or questions regarding that, all they have to do is just give you guys a call down.
Sure, call the office and just be patient, because we do have a pretty good volume of calls coming in right now. But somebody will talk to you and discuss any questions that you may have, property owners may have concerning their values.
And they could also contact us, the office, by email. We've got the trim notice has the phone number, several phone numbers, several email addresses that they can contact us with.
Yeah, well, you just stay out of this, Frank.
Okay.
We're talking about
I know, I told you it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard.
No, but it is, a lot of people, question, my value went down, but my, appraisal or the taxes still go up a little bit. But a lot of that, again, doesn't necessarily come from us. The state school board, they could choose to raise that millage rate, and that now they vote on this when? That's it. That's the final thing right there. Correct?
Well, the proposed the tax rates are out there now, and whether they're approved based on the budget.
And they vote on that when.
Yeah, we got the date.
There's two more. I know we got
there's several different public hearings coming up.
Yeah, we got one coming up on the 13th.
Yes, and then the school board will be the 11th.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's just it's interesting, about the taxes is, just in my opinion as a citizen, the school board's done a pretty good job the last few years. They've pretty much held the line on their millage rates, but the biggest portion, the biggest portion of their total tax rate is set by the state legislature.
Yeah.
And the local school board has been biting the bullet and pretty much keeping the millage rates level or even reducing them a little bit. But the legislature keeps jacking the state contribution. The required local effort is what they call it.
Yeah.
It keeps increasing that, and I believe they've increased it again this year. So.
Really? Have they again?
Yeah.
And that's what's sad, because a lot of people don't realize that, and the local school board gets blamed for it when it's not their fault. That's coming at you from Tallahassee up there. And what about this Amendment 4? What have you heard about that?
That's an interesting one. Lots of stuff in Amendment 4.
Now this would, from my understanding of it, and I haven't really read up on it, it's just kind of based on the commercial and one article that I've seen on it, it would not allow the county to do the, I guess, what do they call that, the...
recapture?
Yeah.
Right. And there's several things in Amendment 4, and the State Realtor Board is supporting it. I mean, apparently obviously they think that that's going to help the real estate market. We've referred to, it's been out there a year actually. It was passed by the 2011 legislature. It's just going to be in the ballot in November, and we've called it, referred to it as a super exemption, because that's a portion of it too. But it does away with the recapture if the market value of the property doesn't change or comes down. Right now, and we don't have, I think this year, down around, it only affected about 6,000 homestead properties, because the market has come down so much. But there are still many properties out there that have had the homestead exemption and the associated Save Our Homes limitation for so long that their market value, even though it has come down for a number of years probably, is still so much higher than the limited assessed value that even though that market value comes down, that assessed value had to be increased by 3%, which was the limitation this year.
And so that would eliminate the ability to get that 3%.
Yes, if the market value remained unchanged or decreased, then the recapture would not apply. It also would change. Right now on non-homestead properties, the cap is 10%. It would reduce that to 5%. Then
that's all part of the
right, and then there's this. It seems like there's four things, but there's a super exemption, is what they're calling it. And buddy, it's a bit involved. Yeah, it's our programmers, our computer guys love it. It keeps them a job. Yeah, every year the legislature does something else or puts something out there, and the electorate passes it. Of course, it's got to get 60% of the vote, so we'll just have to see what happens. But it is really it's
geared towards first time.
Right.
If you haven't had a homestead property, I believe, in the past 3 years, it's kind of like a first time homeowner incentive, to purchase a home.
And you can get, I think it's up to 50%. It's the first year is 50% of the median home value. Yeah. I guess the Department of Revenue will certify that each year if it passes, and then it reduces 20% each year after that. So you get the 50% exemption of whatever that median home value is.
So say you have a $2,000 property tax bill, that would take it down to $1,000.
Well, no, it's the median value. So
okay.
let's say the Department of Revenue certifies. If it passes, the Department of Revenue would have to take the data, certify to each property appraiser.
So like
okay, your last year's median value was $120,000. Okay. And so my home is worth $150,000. I'm haven't had a homestead exemption in Florida in 3 years, so I qualify. I would get a $60,000 exemption.
Okay.
But I think that's in addition. That may be in addition to the standard 25. I mean, it's just very, very convoluted, but let's just try and keep it simple. You get the $60,000 that first year, and then the next year it would be reduced by 20%, and then the next year another 20%. So it would go away over 5 years.
And by that time, you're eligible for the homestead exemption.
Well, you would be, and I'm sorry, but I don't know offhand, but I think it's in addition to.
In addition to.
In addition to the standard exemption.
Well, that's going to all things being as they have been for the last 3 years, that could really put an even tighter grip on county budgets.
Right, it could. Obviously, it depends on how many people would qualify, how many people apply.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's happened over the years is people have, let me just say, they have come up with inventive ways to try and qualify for a homestead exemption because it has become so valuable. Mm-hmm. It started out 30 years ago, it was $5,000. Then it got increased to $25,000. And then Save Our Homes came in. And at one point in time, the Save Our Homes benefit was much more valuable than the homestead exemption, especially in the glory days, a few years ago. And then they came along, now they've added an additional $25,000 that only applies under certain circumstances. Your home's got to be worth, it applies to the third $25,000 segment. It's over $50,000. If your home, you get the standard $25,000. If your home value is over $50,000, then the amount over $50,000 is exempt up to $25,000, an additional $25,000.
So what he's saying is you got a lot of work ahead of you, Paul, right?
and it changes every year. I mean, that's one thing about the legislation. When this new legislation comes into play or is passed, there's not a lot of guidance sometimes. There's no additional information out there, so you've got to interpret that legislation. Sometimes the Department of Revenue will give you, send you out a bulletin and their opinion on it, but it's really up to the property appraiser to sit down and look at that legislation, how to correctly enforce that, and it changes. And then again, you have these exemptions that are taking value off the tax roll. Mm-hmm. So and you got your neighbors. Neighbors got a home similar to yours, it's valued at this, but because of this exemption, now the super exemption, they're going to be paying this taxes, you're going to be paying this much more taxes. So it's kind of kind of different to
People got to really pay attention
Gotta
to
pay
what
attention
they're
to it.
eligible for, and how much paperwork is there to fill out to to qualify for all this for the homeowner.
Well, the standard homestead exemption is pretty straightforward. But as far as this new, super exemption, when that comes in, we don't really have, and I don't think there's a draft out there yet as far as the application and the requirements, how to.
Because something like this, it sounds like it's probably going to pass because enough people are going to be able to save a lot of money on it. So.
Right. It may. And it may. I think the thing they're looking at is this is going to spur, home sales.
Well, I hope so.
A lot of folks come in and start buying homes if they realize they can get this tax break. So it may do that.
But unfortunately, as you were saying, it surprises a lot of people. I was just looking at some correspondence yesterday, and the people had written, the letter had come in, or email, I can't remember what it was now, and it was like, we looked at our trim notice, and please tell us this is a mistake.
Yeah.
How could our taxes have gone from $600 to $1,200, and they were new owners? And so they didn't, the prior owner had a homestead exemption.
Had the exemption.
Probably has maybe a little bit of Save Our Homes limitation, and when that sells, that all goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you apply for and qualify for homestead exemption.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up.
Yeah,
New
that
home
surprises.
buyers. That's something you would think that the real estate agent would.
Well, I
wanna
think they
point
do.
out.
I can't imagine a real estate agent not making that clear, but unfortunately, when they contact us, nobody ever told us that.
Yeah.
But again, we didn't know you were going to.
Were you paying
We
attention?
didn't.
Yeah.
We do the best job we can. We spend a lot of time and effort and money trying to get the word out. Ads in the newspaper, different publications, our website. But and most people, they're not happy about it, but they understand because it comes as a shock to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much going on when you're trying to buy a home and close, and the realtor probably did say something to them about it, but they did not.
Didn't connect.
It didn't connect,
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but that's one of the things that's out there, and that's one of the things that's been created with all these new exemptions and limitations and et cetera, et cetera.
So how are we looking overall? Home values here in Charlotte County this year compared to last. We
I think
still kind of leveling off.
Yeah, the volume seems to be picking up. It's monthly. It's kind of typical as far as the number of sales, but overall, I think the values are starting to level off. We're seeing some increases, this year, and I think that's going to continue based on the strength of the market right now. It seems to be doing a lot better.
Good.
In the inventory, from everything we're reading and seeing that the inventory's down. So when the inventory starts coming down, that helps as well.
All right.
Right, and just I just jotted down some notes before I came in this morning, and this is 2012 is actually the 6th year in a row where we've had a decrease in overall county values, and of course. When you say overall county value decreased, that doesn't necessarily mean everybody's value decreased.
Because we're talking how many? 200 and
over 200,000 parcels.
Yeah.
And there are certainly areas in the county where your premium properties. You would expect that your waterfront properties would turn around a little bit quicker than your standard vacant lot out in Northwest Port Charlotte.
Sure.
So, but this is the lowest. It was the lowest decrease in 7 years. So we're down right around 5%, and that was taxable value. It's a little it can be a little confusing because the taxing authorities, all they're interested in is taxable value.
Mm-hmm.
What can they levy on? But of course, what the property appraiser does is determine the just value or the estimated market value of the property, and then everything that's exempt comes off of that to get your taxable value. And the taxable value went down about 5% this year, but the just value is only about 3%. So
we are kind of leveling
things
off
seem
here.
to be leveling off. I mean, and up until last year, we'd had several years of double-digit decreases.
Mm-hmm.
So, and overall, if you look at it, the tax roll value, we're back in the 2003 probably time frame because. the just value, about $15.2 billion, excuse me, 15.2 billion, is kind of in between 2003, 2004. But then when you consider there are thousands of new buildings on the tax roll today that didn't exist back in 2004, so we're probably in the 2003 time frame for market value overall.
Cool, cool. Well, this is probably about this is going to be the last time that we have you here as a property appraiser.
Well, I may sneak in to talk. Well, I may as a property appraiser. I may sneak in to talk about something else.
Well, and speaking of that, you got the lobster bait coming up.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Thank you very much. Because in addition to my day job, I'm also involved with the County Historical Society, and we've got our annual Authentic Maine Lobster Bait coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, September 21st, out of Port Charlotte Beach Complex.
You sold out yet?
Yep, no, not sold out yet. So we got plenty of tickets to sell. So
Okay.
Please, give the Historical Center a call at 629-7278.
And folks, this generally every year it's been a sellout.
Yes.
And you're definitely going to want to take advantage of this because tell us what you get.
Well,
I mean,
it's a great it's a great deal. I mean, it is an authentic Maine lobster bake. Uncle Jim comes in. They set up early in the afternoon, so it actually cocktails at 6, dinner at 7. But come early because it's pretty neat to watch them set that thing up and do the cooking. And as I understand it, they got hard boiled. They got eggs in there. When the eggs are hard boiled, everything's done. That's the way they time it. But, I mean, my gosh, you of course, you got lobster, you got steamer pots. If you're not crazy about lobster, we do have steak and chicken, if you want that selection, and got a vegetarian dish, too. But you get New England clam chowder, steamed clams and mussels, baked potato, corn on the cob, hard-boiled egg, coleslaw, rolls, and, for dessert, strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake.
And it is a great meal, a great time. I mean, you got lobster is $60. It's one of our big fundraisers. Have Phil Wilson there. Got a lot of good auction items, and Phil is always. He's such a great guy, and he is always. I tell people, if you don't like lobster, it's worth the $60 just to see Phil in action. I tell you.
Is he off the crutches yet?
I have not spoken with him lately. I've left a message with his lovely wife, Linda, yesterday, and coincidentally, as I was leaving the office, as I was driving by their office about 5:45, I saw him outside, and I caught a quick glimpse of Phil. Looked like he was walking fine.
There you go.
So
good.
Looks like he's doing very well. But
yes, Hippo, is he going to be
yeah, thank you. Yes, the Golden Rhino.
The Golden Rhino.
Yeah, Hippo's going to be emceeing it, and he's always a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So it's a great time, and please help.
That here?
Oh, sure, I'll leave that here. Please, we appreciate all the support the community gives us, and again, hopefully. A lot of people will be contacting the Historical Center to reserve their spaces and buy their tickets. And again, that number is 629-7278. The center has kind of cut back on their hours, so if you call in the morning, you're going to get a voicemail. So just leave a message, and somebody will be getting back to you.
And tickets aren't going to be available at the door, gang, so hurry up and call 629-7278. Do it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, gang. Paul, we'll have you back soon.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Good luck at the retirement home, Frank.
Yeah, all right, Kenny. Come see me sometime.
Just send me an email. Let me know what visiting hours are.
Let me roll him out here.
All right. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back on Charlotte County Speaks.